Peace above all things, bro. Peace above all things. Do not allow madness in your life. Do not allow mad people to come and stir the waters of your peace. Plan like you will live forever and live like you will die tomorrow. You understand? So most of the time, you think everything is coming to an end. This is how life lies to you, because you are on survival mode. Okay? Gentlemen, you need to slow down.
You as a man, you must know how to make money. If you don't know how to make money, as a man, what good are you? So for men, you have to go beyond, out of your comfort zone. Pick a direction and go. This direction I want to go, go. Go fail, go succeed, it's up to you. One day you might fail so spectacularly. You know
Welcome back, fam. Before we start, click the subscribe button. Today we are diving deep into the life of one of Kenya's most talked about, most controversial, and most polarizing media personalities, the one and only Andrew Kibe. Whether you love him or you can't stand him, there's no denying that his story is one of the wildest journeys in East African media. Grab your snacks, get comfortable, and let's get into it. Andrew Kibe was born on July 1st, 1976, and hails from central Kenya. Unlike many celebrities who share every detail of their upbringing, Kibe has always kept his early years close to his chest. He has never publicly named his parents or spoken in detail about his siblings, though he has mentioned losing a sister in 2012, an event he has said, in his usual blunt style, he did not shed tears over. Because Kibe has deliberately guarded this part of his story, much of his early life remains shrouded in mystery, as several profiles of him put it. What is known is that he grew up in an urban Kenyan setting, in a household that, by his own telling, combined traditional values with the fast-changing social landscape of post-independence Kenya. Those who remember him from his youth describe a boy who was never afraid to speak his mind, a trait that would go on to define his entire career. For high school, Andrew Kibe attended the well-known Nairobi Milimani School, where he was remembered not just for his personality but for his sharp, fashionable dress sense. He stood out among his peers for always looking sharp and stylish. Interestingly, one of his schoolmates at Milimani was none other than the late Senator Mutula Kilonzo Jr., showing just how small the Nairobi elite circles can be. Beyond high school, Kibe has never publicly disclosed which college he attended, what he studied, or what class of degree, if any, he earned. Some accounts suggest he pursued studies related to communication, which would later feed naturally into his broadcasting career, but Kibe himself has never confirmed the specifics. True to form, the man who built a brand on being unfiltered has remained remarkably filtered about his own academic journey. When it comes to his personal love life, Kibe has always insisted on privacy, a surprising stance for a man who built an entire career telling other people's business and giving unsolicited advice on relationships. What is known is that he was once married. From that marriage, he has a daughter and a son, who would now be in his late teens. In past interviews, Kibe has said, painfully, that he has not seen his son since the boy was around 5 years old, claiming that communication broke down after his former partner moved on and remarried. Beyond that admission, Kibe has not shared further details about his marriage, his ex-partner, or any other children, and no verified public records detail more than this. One of the most fascinating twists in the Andrew Kibe story is his religious past. Long before he became known for his fiery YouTube rants, old photographs surfaced online showing Kibe holding a Bible alongside celebrated motivational speaker and pastor Robert Burali. These photos fueled years of rumors that Kibe had once been a preacher or was training to become one. Kibe has always firmly denied ever actually being an ordained pastor, though he has admitted he was headed in that direction at one point in his life. In one of his classic, self-deprecating comments, he joked that he could never lie enough to become a successful pastor. But if he had gone all the way, he believed he would have been one of the best in the country. He has credited a trip to India as something of an awakening point, after which he stepped away from the religious path entirely and embraced what he now calls the realness way. In the years since, Kibe has been openly critical of organized religion in many of his videos, marking a dramatic transformation from Bible-carrying young man to one of Kenya's loudest religious skeptics. Before he was a media mogul, Andrew Kibe briefly tried his hand at politics. In the run-up to Kenya's 2013 general election, he threw his hat in the ring for the Lang'ata constituency member of parliament seat, but the bid was unsuccessful. He lost to Joe Sholem. For years afterward, Kibe rarely spoke about this chapter of his life. When he eventually addressed it on his YouTube channel, he was characteristically blunt about it, dismissing his own campaign as pure folly. In his words, he was younger and foolisher back then, wasting time and money on something he now sees very differently. That honest, almost self-mocking reflection on his own political misadventure is a good example of the brand of brutal honesty, about himself and everyone else, that would come to define his media career. Long before slick studio setups and international interviews, there was the now legendary rooftop Kibe era. In the early stages of his online video career, Kibe would film raw, unscripted commentary from a rooftop in Nairobi. No fancy lighting, no big production, just Kibe, his phone or camera, the city skyline behind him, and his unapologetic opinions on everything from relationships to politics to pop culture. Fans and critics alike still fondly, and sometimes mockingly, refer to this as Prime Kibe or the rooftop era, and clips from those early rooftop sessions still circulate on TikTok and X to this day, with many longtime fans saying that period captured him at his rawest and most authentic. It was this rooftop content that helped build the grassroots following that would eventually carry him into mainstream radio and, later, YouTube stardom. Andrew Kibe's professional media career took off in radio. He first made a name for himself at NRG Radio, where he co-hosted the popular Breakfast Club show alongside fellow media personality Kameen Goro. The duo quickly became a sensation, pulling in a massive, loyal audience with their chemistry and their willingness to say things other radio hosts wouldn't dare say. Their popularity, however, led to friction with NRG Radio's owner, Kevin Muley, who at one point sought a court order to stop the pair from moving to a rival station, citing losses on billboards and promotional investments tied to them. Despite that legal drama, Kibe and Kameen successfully made the jump to Kiss FM in 2019, and their move was an instant hit. The show helped the station build a huge new following within weeks. But the ride at Kiss FM didn't last either. In June 2020, Kibe shocked many of his fans by abruptly resigning. He cited censorship over his choice of words as the main reason for walking away. In later interviews, he admitted that life after quitting was far from glamorous. He has spoken candidly about losing his house, his car, and even friends in the aftermath of that decision. It was a rock-bottom moment that, in many ways, set the stage for his reinvention as a digital-first content creator. After stepping away from mainstream Kenyan radio, Andrew Kibe relocated to the United States of America, a move that would completely reshape his career and his public image. Freed from the editorial restrictions of a traditional Kenyan radio station, and now broadcasting from thousands of miles away, Kibe leaned fully into unfiltered, long-form commentary. Living in the US gave him both physical and creative distance from the Kenyan media establishment, and it was from American soil that he built what became one of the most talked-about YouTube channels to ever come out of the Kenyan content space. On YouTube, Andrew Kibe transformed himself into a full-blown digital phenomenon. His channel became a platform for his opinions on relationships, masculinity, politics, religion, career advice, and Kenyan celebrity culture, always delivered in his signature blunt, confrontational, and often controversial style. Over time, he built up a channel boasting more than 3,500 videos, racking up over 160 million views and amassing close to 475 subscribers. He became known as one of the go-to voices for unfiltered manosphere-style commentary in the Kenyan and broader African online space, with supporters praising his fearlessness and critics accusing him of being deliberately inflammatory and, at times, misogynist. In September 2023, Andrew Kibe's main YouTube channel, with its nearly 500,000 subscribers, was suddenly terminated by YouTube, sparking a massive online reaction and pushing his name to the top of trending topics on X, formerly Twitter. Google's head of communications and public affairs for Africa, Dorothy Uko, later addressed the controversy directly, explaining that Kibe had violated YouTube's terms of service. According to Uko, Kibe had already been restricted from certain platform features, including uploading new videos, but instead of complying, he attempted to get around those restrictions by uploading content through a secondary channel, a practice known as circumvention. That workaround, she explained, is what triggered the termination of all of his associated channels, not just the one that had been restricted. Notices and accusing YouTube of failing to provide a paper trail before wiping out a channel with thousands of videos. Many of his fans rallied behind him, framing the termination as an act of cancel culture and censorship, while others felt the platform was simply enforcing its own rules. In the years since, Kibe has attempted to relaunch on YouTube multiple times, only to see Kibe pushed back hard against this explanation, publicly demanding proof of any violation. Newer channels terminated again within days of posting fresh content, including one occasion where a brand new channel was pulled down after just 2 high-profile interviews. Each time, YouTube has pointed to its policy against creators who have previously been terminated returning under new channels. In response to losing his YouTube presence, Kibe pivoted hard into building his own ecosystem. He launched a platform called Africa, a homegrown social media and video sharing app positioned as an African alternative to YouTube, and he has continued building his following across TikTok, X, Instagram, and his own websites, proving that even losing his biggest platform couldn't shut down his brand. Not content with just being a broadcaster and online commentator, Andrew Kibe has also stepped into the world of publishing, releasing content aimed at male self-improvement, discipline, and what he frames as a return to traditional masculinity. His most talked about release is his book 28 Commandments, A Journey into Manhood, co-credited with the name Lambistic, a nickname closely associated with Kibe himself, released in late 2025. 28 Commandments is pitched by Kibe not as a typical feel-good self-help book, but as what he calls a survival manual for men who feel left behind by modern society. The book is structured around 28 individual principles, or commandments, each one paired with real-life lessons, cultural commentary, and, in typical Kibe fashion, blunt, no-filter language. Each chapter reportedly comes with weekly action challenges for readers to apply the lessons in their own lives, along with bonus movie recommendations tied to the theme of each commandment. Among the broad themes covered in the book are self-respect and boundaries, financial discipline, emotional resilience, leadership in relationships, purpose over material validation, and rejecting what Kibe describes as societal softening of men. The launch was notably exclusive, with only 100 signed copies released in the first run, which sent his most loyal fans scrambling to secure a copy. As expected, the book landed exactly the way most of Kibe's content does, sparking massive debate. Supporters have praised it as a bold, honest wake-up call that speaks to men who feel ignored by mainstream self-help literature. Critics, on the other hand, have pushed back strongly against some of its messaging, arguing that certain commandments veer into harmful, dismissive territory when it comes to how they frame women and relationships. Whatever side of the debate you land on, there's no denying that 28 Commandments became one of the most discussed self-published books to come out of Kenya's online content space in 2025, further cementing Andrew Kibe's reputation as a man who simply cannot stay out of the headlines, for better or worse. From a quiet, guarded childhood in central Kenya, through a brief flirtation with the pulpit, a failed run at Parliament, a legendary rooftop era, a rollercoaster radio career, a bold relocation to America, YouTube superstardom, a very public termination, and now a budding career as an author, Andrew Kibe's story is anything but boring. Love him or hate him, he remains one of the most discussed and dissected personalities to come out of Kenya's modern media scene. That's the story, fam. Let us know in the comments what part of Andrew Kibe's journey surprised you the most. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you never miss an upload. Drop a like on this video, leave a comment below telling us what you want us to cover next, and share this with a friend who needs to see it. See you in the next one.